when it came to the final fight, what we never anticipated and we had to deal with regardless was it was raining, and then the place got pretty boggy pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this might be a problem. But regardless, we shot the whole final fight in half a day.
6 hours.
Which is crazy. And then we had to do all the dialogue scene, your death scene, wrap up Antonia, wrap up Hannah. So looking back, it was like it was goddamn crazy.
That was the one thing I was afraid of. And you can ask Lorraine, like that was the one thing where I was like, are you sure you can't give us like another half day the next day to do this scene? Are you sure we can't extend it? Are you sure, Lorraine, are you sure? Like that was the one thing where I was like advocating to have a little bit more time, but when we saw we weren't gonna get it, then Hannah and I were just like, right, we're gonna make this work.
I honestly didn't think we were gonna get through it. And I mean, we had 2 cameras running for your fight, but even then, I was like,
we just decided we weren't gonna let it we're not gonna let the day not succeed. We're not gonna let it. So you saw how hard there was just this like, you probably noticed the laser focus that we both brought, like, cause that was the thing that we had to do that day. And we just, kept going.
And to put it into context how fast we're moving, poor Focus Kev never really ever got a mark for focus. So, I mean, I don't know how he kept you guys in focus, but that was a very, very quick, brutal. I mean, you guys were really hurt. Like, there's some, like, I was going back through the edit for some promotional, and there's a bit where you guys are trading blows. You guys are really hitting each other. You can see.
Yeah. Well, it has to be. There's contact's not necessarily bad. When you train for stage combat, there are angles at which you can safely make contact. There's little rules like, soft on soft. So you try to block something that's being thrown with like the soft part, like muscles, not with bone. You're not gonna go like this because this is gonna hurt. The same thing. I did have like a little pad on my right forearm for that kick, because she was going, just when she was doing that that big freaking side kick, and I have to like go and block that. She really sends that leg, and so and that's shin first. So, and there's no other way for her to send that. So it did have a little pad, but pads don't do as much as you think.
She never realized how heavy the actual boots she was wearing were, and she said it did kind of affect her kicking because it would follow through more.
Yeah.
So oh, that's good to know, because I watched that scene where you block it, and I'm like,
though she really goes for it, but because we just figured it out, we talked through it, we went through everything so many times that we worked out what we're okay with, and I was gonna have to take some of that impact. And if I'm like, okay, then I'm just going to take some of that impact. It's just like falling over, like you're going to take that impact, and there's just things where all those things, like, for example, when you punch, you try not to punch with the knuckles ahead, like what would be a more correct martial punch. You go for like the upper shoulder with sort of a much limper fist and all that. There's little bits and tricks where you can make what looks like savage impact without actually hurting each other.